must have felt like deja vu that first quarter from last year.
I wasn't thinking about that, but we were really disappointed. The way we started was indicative of the game. So once we give a side like Adelaide playing at home start like that, it's really hard to peg it back, especially where we're at the moment. So we took a step back today. Obviously, it's our inability to defend as a team really hurt us early, and then we just couldn't stop uncontested marks in particular in the first quarter. Couldn't lock it in our forward half, and then when they started getting on top around the ball, the floodgates opened. So it's pretty inconsistent last, home versus away form in particular. So we've got a lot of work to do when we travel in particular, and bouncing back next week is going to be even more important.
Do you have an idea why the start was so bad? Like you kind of spoke about it, and you were looking at why you were, not performing on the road. Yeah,
we didn't try a heap of different things, but we just put a spotlight on our form when we travel, and it clearly didn't work. Just lethargic when we started the game, and there's no excuse for that. So we've got to own it. But the maturity of the group, and as we grow as a team, as a unit, we expect more.
Was there any signs at all this week that was going to happen, though? You're going to be lethargic to start?
Not really. We trained pretty well. There's obviously with West Coast and we're a big club, and we had a really good win last week, so handling that's always a challenge for us. But I don't think anything can be an excuse for what we did today. So you're really disappointed, but also aware of where we're at in our journey and making sure we learn from it and we bounce back next week. That's our priority. We just can't get too low on this one. As much as we're disappointed, we've got to get going again.
A few weeks ago against Collingwood, you said that you were happy the way they responded after half time.
Yeah.
Did you point to that at half time and hope for that to come out again?
We don't have to go to that all the time. I don't think we rolled over. I just think we got outplayed, and some individuals actually did a pretty good job. I thought Bailey Williams was okay in the ruck. I thought Jermaine Jones went back and did some good things. Chesser, Ruben, Harley, stood up. Some of our younger players, Barras, McGovern. So these guys individually were okay, but collectively that's the bit. So when we play well, we play as one. And it didn't look like that tonight.
It's going to be really pleasing to see what Harley was doing, especially in the third and fourth when he looked like he was trying to take on the Crows by himself. But how disappointing are you that it seemed like too few teammates were going with him in kind of putting up a fight? Yeah,
I don't want to isolate Harley in that point. Look, he's a fantastic kid, and I love his spirit. And he wants to be part of a team, not the team. So and he's not that yet, but he definitely, you know why we drafted him. So it's not just what he does with the ball; it's the spirit he brings as well. But that should be just sitting there nicely, and the rest of the guys get together and we start working on our team identity. And he wants to be part of that. So that's why we're a bit disappointed.
When you're at this stage in the rebuild, how do you come back from these, or how do you assess these sort of losses with the team? Do you have to get really critical, or do you have to try to put it behind you quickly? You got
to be honest, pragmatic. Sense of understanding that some days you're not going to have great days, but thought we're sort of past these type of losses. So we've spoken to the boys, so just honesty is the way they want to be treated, and then we'll highlight what happened on Tuesday and get on with the Saints next week. So as much as I'm not sure if the hysteria or not that's there, or it's just we don't buy into that bit. So we're pretty pragmatic.
You tried to tag or put the clamps on Jordan Dawson earlier when you start to give the start to the game.
We went with Crouch early, but when it's like that, you might as well. We'd put some work into Dawson's second quarter. He does change a lot of positions around the ground. So as much as you nullify one, that's what I said earlier about individually we can have some wins, but if we don't start doing it collectively, what's the point? So we really need to get our system down pat weekly and be consistent in that space. And that's what young teams or rebuilding, whatever you want to call us, that's what we're working on, just good identity. And we took a step back in that space.
Is that mental or physical, or how do you...
A bit of everything, a bit of the, like I said, the maturity of the group. you suspect it's going to be up and down. And we've had some good ups this year. So how they deal with those is important, and how we deal with these is important as well, because we're different. We're not the same. We're not last year. We're not decimated by injuries or guys coming back too early. We've got a bit more honesty about us, so we can be more honest with when we play like we did today.
So was your gut feel that you didn't quite handle the positivity from last week? Or?
I don't know. It might be unfair just to put it on that. I think Adelaide played a great brand, like, you know, physical. You know, we couldn't stop the uncontested game. So I don't think it was as that. We're here to win. We got here on Friday, so it's not like we did a lap of honour on Monday, like from last week. But we had a good win, and then we didn't back it up. So until we back it up, you can write what you need to write, I suppose.
What are the things you can change or do to try and alter the form away to at home? Is it little things? Is it big things? How do you?
Well, the priority now is the Saints. So, and then we've got North. So 2 home games, and we've got the bye. So we'll just keep trying to play our way everywhere, anywhere, anytime. And until we get that right, well, we're going to be up and down. So, yeah, that's our priority now is next week.
Alex Witherden, was it a bad calf?
It's a tight calf, yeah. I don't know who's playing with it. Took the opportunity to make some changes. I think we put Liam Ryan down back. Jermaine Jones went back. Duggar went on ball. So we tried some things. Tried to slow up the ball movement. Control the ball a little bit, but, you know, it was just trying to protect the scoreboard a tiny bit by the end.
How did you see Elliot Yeo's return?
He was a bit scratchy early. He wasn't at his best. He'd be good for the run. He got through. I think coming back from his history must be a bit of, bit nervous a little bit about how he comes back. But he came back. I think he worked in the game, but definitely he's had better ones.
You just spoke about that run too. You've got 2 games at home and then the bye. How important is that going to be? Not even for just that period, but then the back end of the season.
The next 2 games?
Yeah, and then the bye, the home.
Oh, yeah, just this week. We will not, we'll review the game, we'll put it to bed by end of Tuesday, and then we want to train well on Tuesday, and Thursday is the same. And, match committee will be interesting this week. What do we do? With Flynn, who come back and played last week, Gaffy played really well, True played well, so we'll just have a look at that, but it'll be a normal week once we review this game.
Adam, how do you measure that move to the bench at the second half? How do you work out whether you should be up top or on ground level now?
It's a good question. I haven't been at ground level for most of the year, but when we're off, you can see it in the players' eyes. It's a little bit, not confusion, but it's like so many things we're trying to fix. So I reckon we can overcoach as well, because you're trying to solve every problem. So I feel like just communicating with the players probably takes priority rather than strategy. So the boys do a really good job up there anyway, in the box. So it's probably a bit more intimate being on the bench and trying to, I don't know, I don't think it really worked. Maybe it's more for me than anyone. Try and do something different. But they were pretty calm on the bench. So I'm not sure if it did anything.
How do you work out now where you should be?
In the box.
Do you reckon that's where you're better?
Yeah. It was. We've got to back in our leaders, but things happen. Like we're still working on a lot. So no, I'll be staying in the box.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks.